Welcome everybody to the Aspie Bridge show on our Livability Podcast Network. It's Suzanne Plumley. I do every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central. So we have a great guest here today. So over to you, Suzanne.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Emily. Welcome back to the Aspie Bridge Show. And I want to tell you that I am Suzanne Plumley. I am what is considered a autistic level 1 individual. Now, I say that because there are two other levels of autism, and each level has its specific challenges and, even more importantly, its specific gifts that each person gets. And that is going to be the topic of today. So often we're looked at as our deficits in this world and what can't you do and why can't you do it. But today, my guest, Marie Donnelly, and I are now going to help you understand that please don't look at the deficits associated with autism. Look at our gifts or our superpowers. And many of you are like, ooh, superpowers. I don't like to hear that. We're going to talk about that in a few moments. But first, I'd like to introduce you to Marie Donnelly. She is also autistic, level 1, and she is also a life coach like I am. But I'm going to let her tell you more about who she is and who she serves. Go ahead, Marie. Welcome to our Aspie Bridge.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you, viewers. I'm very honored. So I'm Marie Donnelly. My business is called MD Living with Confidence Coaching. I'm ADHD autism life coach. So I work with future visionaries, self-led future visionaries, and I help them empower themselves with confidence so that they can rise up with organization, structure, time management, and follow through. So, and I'm also a teacher. I have a teaching degree and 3 coaching certifications. So I love coaching.
Yes. Welcome to our show. Welcome to Aspie Bridge 2.0. And that's where we share the journey with all of you, the listeners, who want to come out of the victimhood of the diagnosis of autism. Understand that you have special gifts. Nobody came to earth without a gift. You may not know what your gift is yet because you haven't thought of it that way. You've thought about your special interests, but you haven't thought about your gifts. Have you ever noticed that when you were a kid, you kept going back to the same toy or same set of items? And every time you got into working with whatever made you excited, you were hyper-focused. You would stay there for hours and time would fly by, and you didn't even know that it was flying by until someone said, we got to go. It's like, wait, what? Not ready to go yet. Why do I have to go? Because you're so involved in what you're doing and you love doing it that we can just get really concentrate on that activity. Now, for me, lately it's been writing. I love writing. I can write articles in different places, and I am just so involved in writing and helping people through my work. And it's nice when people understand it even more and really can appreciate it. But writing is my special gift and helps people to understand a mindset, getting into a mindset. And I was a writer back when I was 14, but I didn't really think that I could be an author because I was expected to go to work when I got older. So that didn't fall in, but that doesn't mean it's not a gift. Marie, what can you tell me about what might have been in your early years, early teens growing up that you seem to keep going back to that really brings out where you can lose yourself in time because it's just that fascinating?
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you for sharing your writing and everything. That's awesome. So for me, honestly, I think one of the main things was I really, really was fascinated. One, by just like every subject I had, I was naturally helping other people that were struggling. And so that's why I went down the teaching path. I was also super into science. I liked science a lot. I liked mythology, like Egyptian mythology, ancient mythology, maps, because of my strategy games, which really lines up with autism. Age of Kings, Age of Empires, really got into that. Let's see, what else was I? Nature, animals. I really connect with dogs, especially. Like we've had terriers, we've had labs, we have a golden now. And what else would I say? I think honestly, just the world was so fascinating. People were fascinating. Architecture. I have so many different areas of special interest. But then I focus in on like the Bay Area and the Warriors, or coaching and psychology and studying humans. Would be my main ones.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yes.
Travel videos. I get obsessed with travel videos. Even in high school I did, and then college, I got into that as well more. So there's a lot of answers for you.
I guess that is super. Yes, there are so many things. I mean, I mentioned my writing, but I'm very much into crafts, whether it be sewing or cross stitching or scrapbooking. Haven't done as much as that lately, but
yeah.
Essentially, a gift or superpower is that activity that you start doing and the rest of the environment floats away. You could be in the middle of an airport almost. Because think of all how hectic an airport is, but you can zone in and it's almost like the background disappears. Now, why is that important?
That's important because we want to hone in on that and give that support. Because the thing is, the neurodivergent people are brought up thinking that that's a deficit and that that's weird and they need to shut that down. But that's not true, because that's actually what they're meant to bring to the world. That's what they're meant to do and utilize and teach, or whatever it is that they can do with that to help create positive change in the world. And that's what they should do. But they need the support and the structure to be able to do that in a way that they don't have shame or burnout or frustration.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. As we were just talking, the gifts are what, if you're from the spiritual side and you believe in spirituality, you were sent here to Earth with a specific set of skills that, as Marie said, it's your purpose to bring to the world. And we're going to talk about that more in a little while, but a gift is something that was spiritually. Now, let's just say you're not from the spiritual realm. That's not something that is something that's resonating with you because perhaps you had some trauma in a religious place. We understand that. Don't get us wrong. We're not here to push spirituality on you. If it fits, you can enjoy it. The other side of that, the more secular side of that, is superpowers. Now, Marie, you and I both know, and I'm sure you've read it on Facebook. Oh, I can't stand it when people call autistic people having a superpower. Why do you have to call it a superpower?
Oh boy. Yeah, I understand. I understand that, because where they're coming from is they don't want us to dismiss or shut down the frustrations. So obviously there's challenges, there's frustrations, there's different levels, there's positives and negatives, right? But the thing about the frustrations is we just need support. I mean, obviously everybody is different on a different, spot in the levels and everything. But the support is what will bring out the superpowers. And then also, yeah, we should talk about superpowers, because they're not talked about enough. But you gotta have both sides, right? Just like with anything, you gotta have balance, right? You gotta have science with spirituality, or logic with emotion. You can't just have one or the other, because then there's imbalance and it's not accurate, right? And so just like with this, is just like with my coaching, I empower people to work on their frustration aspects. of autism and ADHD. And then we pull out the magic, like writing or teaching or science or engineering or art or, whatever it is. There's so many different areas that can be gifts and superpowers. And I think talking about superpowers is amazing, as long as we're also realizing that everybody has gifts, no matter what your brain is. And there's going to be more and more diversity of brains coming up, I'm sure, because just like everything else in nature, brains are diverse. They're not meant to be just one or two types of brains. There's going to be probably more countless that science is going to come out with coming up, I'm sure.
Oh, exactly. I mean, a lot of people are like, don't label yourself. Don't use that alphabet soup for me. You're not OCD. You're not ASD. You're not. It's like, I don't find that to me is a negative. I find that is an explanation of why I might act in a particular way. And if you know ahead of time that I know who I am, aren't you going to feel a lot more comfortable that you don't have to say, I wonder if she knows this. Because if I come out right and say I am autistic, and however, this is what I love to do. Now, I wanted to go back to what you were saying a few minutes ago, Marie. I use the same technique in my coaching, whereas we really zone in on what the gifts are. We let the person know where their accomplishments are as a result of the gifts. Because, and you know this really well with your thing, with your coaching, once you build that confidence and people feel really good, it's a lot easier to then take those gifts, take those superpowers, and say, now that you really feel good about yourself, let's use those superpowers to find a way to get into your challenges. Maybe it's time. Okay, let's play. You can use your gifts so that when going to the doctor, we can give you a countdown on when you need to stop that activity to get ready to go to the doctor. But now think of it. You're in your zone, your happy place, theoretically. I'm just going to call it that for a moment. I'm going to let Marie go deeper into it. You're in your happy, spending an X amount of time doing something you love. Now that doctor visit isn't bad because the endorphins of doing your happy activity.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Yep.
So about helping people find their confidence first so that they can manage some of the less enjoyable activities after. So when you were talking about executive functioning, just as I was saying, for those of us who are autistic, we don't get into transitioning as well as we do with a lot of neurotypical people can change activities very fast. I will be the first to say I am not a multitasker. I want to count down. Okay, I need to be out of the door by 5 minutes till. That means at let's see, 1:30 I have to be doing this. And we need to help those who are in their special zone have that countdown so they can get ready, because otherwise we would be time blind. What can you add on to your studies of time management around the superpowers or getting involved in the activities?
Can you reword that question? Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you bring in executive functioning and time management?
Oh, okay. That's easier. How do I bring in time management and executive dysfunction? Well, honestly, I think about their peak times of energy. So that's the main thing, is think about whatever the peak times are. Mine tends to be 10 to 2. And then whatever it is, that's the thing that the frog they need to eat today. That's a coaching term. You heard about it. People always think that's hilarious that don't understand it. They're like, what? But but I encourage them to just, whatever it is, like, oh, there's a test coming up. So, okay, well, just open the laptop, open your book, open whatever it is you're using to study, Khan Academy or whatever. And then just start studying, start for 5 or 10 minutes, and then the idea of that is, one, it gets them to start, and two, they might actually go longer. That's the ideal. And then afterwards, for however long, if it's 10, 15, 30, maybe it's an hour or two, maybe they do 2 hours, and that's awesome. But then afterwards, they can give themselves some kind of reward. It doesn't have to be like super sugary or whatever. It could be like go throwing the ball for their dog, something, or going, like, calling their friend, something positive that is also healthy for them. And then time blindness. Yeah. Timers are huge. I use Google Calendar. I put everything in Google Calendar. Also whiteboards. Here's one. I have like 3 or 4 whiteboards in my house that are, used for various different categories and how I organize. And but what you were just saying with, starting something that they really like, but then giving them ample time before they have to get ready and go to something that they hate, like stressful, like an appointment where they might be getting news that's not positive or something, then give them that ample time, timers, transition time, and then give them some kind of, after the appointment, they can have some kind of, reward.
Yeah. Oh,
so
definitely.
Those are my top things. Also, what I've also learned, here's an example for organization, is color coding. So zones, categories together, and then color coding. For example, what came to my brain is I went to this restaurant. I've been there a couple times now. It's here in Idaho. It's in Eagle. It's called Pig Latin. And their menus are the most neurodivergent. Like, it's just so beautiful. It's so color coordinated. It's all very categorized. I look at it and my brain is so happy, so at peace, so empowered. But then so many other menus are like, okay, it's kind of sort of organized, but it's like all the same fonts and all the same color. It's like, oh, it's okay, but it's like, this just stood out. There's an example of organization for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I would find it more visually appealing too. It would just automatically bring in those happy endorphins that we do need in order to go through our day. Visuals is constantly a positive part of our lives. And whenever people can make something more physically visual or visually physical, whichever way you want to say.
I know what you mean.
I mean, it just adds one more layer of understanding onto our ability. Like, for instance, let me just diverse a little bit. I know that when I would go into school and a professor was talking and talking and talking and talking without any form of a visual cue, there was no way for me to concentrate. And then this one professor would write a word on the board here and then write a word on the board there. There was no structure. Yeah, no structure at all. And it was hard to prepare for that exam because all of it was auditorily based. And for those of you who, like me, are challenged with auditory processing, if someone doesn't even have it on a piece of paper in an outline form, it doesn't even have to be colors, but have it on a form. I have found that one of my superpowers is taking text and turning it into an outline.
Oh, that's awesome. So you're really good at organizing that in a way that's easier for your brain or your type of brain. That's awesome.
Exactly. The main topic and then the subtopics. But that is just one way of looking at how our brain functions better with organization. whether it be time, whether it be structural organization, for helping you find that. Maybe that isn't your strong suit, and that's where a coach can help you to really create zones where you can take one piece of information and put it into a visual. Now, maybe you have both, but you like to have a tactile.
Yeah.
That's also good. If you have that piece of paper where you can feel it while the teacher's talking. Or, yes, or a fidget toy. Exactly. So let's get back to our gifts for a moment and our super talents. When you know what your talent is, and if you don't, we can help you find that. Because even though you may not think you have one, it just means that you haven't been aware enough to realize that activity, which you get into so deeply. And it could be even just reading a book where the whole world disappears around you. And try that the next time. Just go through your day each morning and say, oh, this is where time seems to just disappear on me. And then look at what you're doing. That is a key to what your future
exactly
is doing. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, sorry. I like to say, just like with the confidence, is I ask a lot of questions in my coaching. And so I'll ask them, when was a time that you were just naturally confident, whatever you were doing, you were naturally confident, you felt empowered, you just really knew about what you're talking about. What were you doing? What subject was it? Where were you? Who you were around? That's how I get to that. And just like what you were saying too, is that's what that is for you right there. Or you, like, you could have one or two, you could have several. It depends, you know?
Exactly.
And it can change too. You can get bored of one and then come back to it. But yeah, that's why I think for ADHD, for me, I tend to have more. If I was just autistic, I might have just a couple different focuses of, this is what I'm super into. And then that's what's really awesome about autism is that, and you can do this too, obviously with ADHD, is that you just get so into it that you become a master and you can become an expert in whatever area. And then you're just obsessed with learning. Like for me with psychology, human behavior, anthropology, you know, anything with human science, studying humans, human growth, human evolution, personal development, spiritual development. That is probably the biggest obsession I've had, positive obsession, also because it's all very positive topics. You know, it's not like politics or something that's can be very annoying and negative when people bring it up, right?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. And a lot of people are constantly saying, well, isn't that toxic positivity if you just don't look at my deficits? It's like, it's not that we're trying to get you to not look at them. We're trying to bring in the idea that you have the gifts, you have the superpower. And if you can reward yourself with time to do that superpower before you have to do some of the less or more mundane activities like unloading the dishwasher or cooking, or
laundry,
or laundry. That's a great example. Then the incentive is, okay, I've had this time to do that. And so maybe you are at work and you need to say, well, what schedule? And this goes back to what you were saying at the beginning of the day. What schedule would meet you? Now, remember, we're not necessarily talking to those who are unable to hold a job right now. But there may be some jobs you can do. You just are not aware of them yet.
Okay.
So that's one thing. But just think about what time of day is your peak time. I loved it when you said that earlier because that makes so much difference. Don't try and cook a meal at 5 o'clock when you're tired. Maybe you can put in have all of your meals be crock pot meals when you're early in the morning when you are fresh, and then you just turn it on and leave it for the day.
Yeah.
So learning how to bring joy into those mundane activities by incorporating it with some of the things you do like. Maybe you like listening to audiobooks.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no good time to listen to an audiobook. But I bet while you're unloading the dishwasher, you could listen to that audiobook.
Exactly. Yeah. Just like with laundry, if you're listening to something like an audiobook or a YouTube video or whatever that's interesting, podcast, that can make it not boring, not repetitive, not mindless, and you not want to hire a robot to do it.
Exactly.
So that's great. That's one of the things I would suggest for people if, like things they're avoiding is how can you make this more fun? How can you make this more enjoyable? And before, obviously you can always reward yourself after, but before, like, can you do something before that you enjoy, or how can you, spiff it up?
So. Exactly. Oh, and that's going to make that harder activity always so much more manageable. We're not saying it's going to be as great as the activity that you love doing, but it will make it more manageable. So you can then go through and handle the activity that you don't want to do. Maybe let's go back to the doctor's office. Take your headphones, listen to as long as you can hear them call your name, listen to your headphones and listen to that book on tape. Have your book ready that you can listen and read the book. Now you're back in that zone of comfort again. Even though it's at a place that you may not want to do. So understanding your superpowers. My girls were always completely dumbfounded. You hate noise, Mom, but you're reading in the middle of the airport. How are you not bothered? And that's one of those things that reading was my superpower at the time, and I could just float into the pages of the book. Now, we had talked about how it creates mastery and innovation, because when we get so immersed into that activity, you do want to keep going, and you do want to keep studying or learning or fixing items that may be otherwise not quite working as well. There's the innovation part, tweaking something so it works quite well. Let's go into how we as life coaches can create advocacy and reform so that people are now seeing their superpowers in a more positive light. For me, I am in the process of creating a community within a bunch of communities that's neurodivergent-friendly. So I'm in the process of developing an environment with other neurodivergent people who feel supported where they once may not have had the support of people around them. I'm going to be creating a community for neurodivergent people and those who are willing to be bridge builders. Remember, my bridge builders are those who understand you and can help you, but they don't necessarily need to be autistic. But they're open to your language. They're open to letting you be free without masking. I think if through my Aspie Bridge itself, that is a form of advocacy. Getting you together on this bridge with someone who's neurotypical, who is open to you, that's a form of advocacy. And reform is connecting you with people who will understand you, creating that environment around you that you don't have to mask anymore. You don't have to pretend you fit in anymore because you already belong.
Exactly.
What would you like to add to that? How can you bring in advocacy and reform for the autistic person who is perhaps stuck in their diagnosis and things that they have nothing to offer?
No, I love what you said. That was really good. I would say for anybody who is autistic, who is either down about their diagnosis or they're down that they're going to get diagnosed or whatever, or their shame or whatever, I would say for them and their family to just, one, think about, obviously they probably already thought of this, hopefully too, is set up their life as much as possible for them in terms of accommodating so that their strengths can come out, to whatever degree. Try to find as many holistic modalities, obviously, that money can provide, and what's affordable and obviously able to be reached as well, to help empower them, medicine, whatever they need. Obviously, I'm not a med provider, and I don't prescribe, but obviously there's other individuals, other professionals that can help. But tools, strategies. But I would say the best way that they could advocate is just speaking up, researching, talking to different professionals, and finding professionals that understand them and have empathy, and that aren't trying to just shut them down and make them act like they're neurotypical, because they're not neurotypical, and help them empower themselves so that they feel good about being an autistic person, because there are amazing things about being autistic. There's creativity, there's like areas of special interest where they can be a master. They can be really good at piano. They can be really great at building an empire on a strategy game. There's just so many different things they could be good at. Like, they might know everything about plants, or animals or whatever. There's something, I'm sure, that this is what I want to spend my whole life doing. Then try to get them to do that. Like, get them to get money to do that, like somehow get that, like maybe build a business or something. If they, like, they just need support. We all need support. Neurotypicals need support too. All humans and brains need support. It's just that the society has been built for neurotypicals. That's the only reason why they think we have deficits.
Right.
And our deficits, that's why you're building, I'm helping build communities that are very neurodivergent friendly. And then I advocate by podcasts, my videos on my social media. Me as a human, I'm a walking billboard. I'm openly ADHD. I'm openly empowering everybody I meet. Pretty much everybody in my life is some degree of neurodivergent. And I'm always just trying to empower I want to write books, speaking, do more speaking. I have a speaking training coming up I'm really excited about in Boise. And honestly, just advocate by having empathy and encouraging other people to look at things a little more open-mindedly and more modernly, not so like the R word in the past,
Yeah, exactly.
Like, let's get away from that, which I think there's been a lot of progress, honestly. Yes, we still need to make progress. And I try to ignore, like certain politicians and things that aren't pro us. And, all I can do is empower the people I'm meant to empower, and then they can help positively change the world and have these new ideas, new ways of thinking, and help evolution, right, of the greater consciousness.
That was the word I was looking for. Yeah, evolving. We have definitely evolved. And I think even as our country and our world goes into more and more challenging areas, I want to say, and I put this into my community and in my life coaching things, yes, there are challenges out there. We're not going to discount that there aren't challenges. Yes, you've had trauma. Yes, you've had challenges.
Exactly.
We're not going to eliminate that. In the expression, accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, we're just going to say accentuate the positive.
Mm-hmm.
Look at what you can do right now in your life. Look at who you can influence with what you know.
Exactly.
And don't worry about who they think you are.
Yeah, and don't worry about the haters, because people are gonna hate no matter what. If people are hating and minimizing and controlling, they unfortunately need some healing, And so people that love and then empower are actually healthier individuals. So those are the people you care about. The other people, I mean, you got to deal with it. But don't let that weigh you down. Don't let all the crap weigh you down. Don't let propaganda weigh you down. Don't let anxiety and things weigh you down. Get out of the mud, got to rise above that, which isn't easy, but there's definitely lots of ways to do that. So it's a healthy mindset.
That is so right. You know, a lot of people can get stuck there and this is not just neurodivergence either.
Oh yeah, everybody.
The neurotypicals can get stuck with what's out there. I was listening to
1,000%.
a coworker and a customer the other day battle it out about the rapture versus conspiracy theories, and I'm like,
oh really?
You two can go about having your conversation. I'm going to walk away now because
I'm going to leave this room.
My energy belongs.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes the best part for all humans. Is decide where their energy really belongs. But for you, the autistic, the neurodivergent individual, you have a choice. You can get sucked into what everybody's talking about.
Yeah.
Or you can preserve your energy, go back into your superpowers, your gifts, and do what you do best. Not worry about what might happen in the future.
Yep,
that doesn't mean don't be unprepared.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean think it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
That just means when it happens, you're prepared. But don't worry about it right now. Focus on what you can do to make this world a better place.
Exactly. And that's like the moral of my life is I obviously hope I can inspire as many people as possible individually. You know, I had a group, I might have a group again, speaking, workshops, all the things, podcasts, whatnot, reels. But I hope that at least I can minimally get as many people as possible to just want to positively improve themselves, heal themselves, so that they can be a better influence for other humans and separate from all this BS, you know, and just focus on what they can control that's positive, still living in reality, but also creating a better reality for them and everybody else that's in this world.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of information coming at you, coming at us. And it's how you choose to use that information, whether it be from a service that you went to last Sunday, or you went to a political rally, whatever is your vibe.
Yeah.
There is a lot of information coming at you, but it is up to you to choose what you take in.
Exactly.
And when we say what you take in, that means what you're going to breathe and fume about for the next couple of hours. You can say, okay, I understand their point of view, but that doesn't mean that I have to dwell in it for the next 2 hours. Instead, you can find your special activity, find your superpower or your gift, immerse yourself in that. And if it benefits others, that's the best way to do it.
Oh, yeah. And if you need to meditate or go to nature or walk on the greenbelt path by the river, whatever you got to do to get over that frustrating conversation that you had so you can get into a better mind space, do it. Because I've learned a lot of neurodivergent people, neurotypicals do this too, but especially neurodivergent, they really dwell on those negative feelings. And that's the unmanaged neurodivergence, especially, or you know, maybe not as healthy, maybe more of the challenges. So I really encourage people, okay, feel your feelings. You know, like if you just had a fight or something, something changed in a connection or something, then feel it, process it, talk to individuals, go to nature, ground, whatever you got to do, and then give yourself a certain amount of time. And then guess what? Keep going, you know, and then I need to do today. What are the steps I need to do just a little bit every day so that I am going forward in my life and helping the world move forward into a better place?
That's right. That's right. So I want to say thank you to all of our listeners. Thank you to Marie for coming today.
Thank you.
And the next time you feel stressed, the next time you feel like you've had those challenging conversations, the next time you're just not feeling energetic, probably the best thing you can do is find that one superpower, that one gift where you can immerse yourself into Don't bypass the doctor appointment to do it. Don't bypass the family dinner to do it. You do need to find it, but say to yourself, put it on a calendar. My next available time to get involved is to get involved in your gift or your superpower, whichever word you prefer to use. And just that will bring you back to center. Take the deep breaths you need to take to bring yourself back to bring your nervous system back to regulation. Get involved as soon as you're able in your gift, and that is going to reset you.
Exactly. No, and that's beautiful because so many people get made fun of or have been made fun of for, obsessing about whatever it is that they're really into, but they need to be encouraged. I mean, yes, they still need to be functional and assisted to be functional and more functional in other categories too, and well-rounded, but encourage that. That is what they're supposed to bring to the planet.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to say thank you, Marie, for coming to the Aspie Bridge today. And I hope the rest of you have enjoyed this conversation. I do want to say that the Aspie Bridge is going on a 2-week vacation.
Oh, okay.
Because my daughter is getting married the 18th, and I'm going to put all of my devoted attention on her wedding. So the Aspie Bridge is going to be taking 2 weeks off. We will be back on the 28th of April to continue with our podcasting. I hope you enjoyed the time you have. I know I'm going to enjoy the time I have with my daughters and my older daughter getting married. And I hope you have a wonderful 2 weeks, and I will see you back on the 28th.
Well, thank you so much. And yeah, have a great time at the wedding. And thank you, everybody. Hope you have a beautiful day.
Wonderful. Oh, if you need to get a hold of Marie, come to the Aspie Bridge Facebook page and go under her picture and her bio, and you can ask her any questions. Marie, would you kindly put some of your email or contact, the best way to contact you on the Aspie Bridge Facebook page so that people can get a hold of you?
Yep, totally. I'll put my website, my social media, my number, email. Yeah.
Perfect. That way, if people want to get a hold of you and talk more to you, that would be a great way to connect with Marie on there. But I want to say thank you for coming this week, and we'll see you on the 28th.
All right. Thanks.